get a whole lot more 337 than Russell Babineaux, an Acadiana standout, now committed to the Raging Cajuns for Louisiana versus all y'all. Jarrett Roser here with the rising senior standout for the Wrecking Rams to talk about all of it. He's got this senior season on deck, as well as now knowing what his college plans are beyond that. And Russ, it's been a long, hot summer, and it's pretty much camp time now, man. How's everything been going for you the last couple months?
Absolutely. Everything's been going great. I can't complain. Just getting into work each and every day that I can. And it's always been a grind out here every day, whether it's on the field, off the field, you have to do it. So it's getting everything done.
I mentioned we're going to get into all of it. We'll start with the college commitment and then talk some more about all of the work that you've put in this offseason too, making sure that you're in the best place, both this season and beyond. And then we'll talk about kind of what the expectations are for you guys and your, last go round with the Wrecking Rams. But we're a few weeks, a little bit more than a month removed from you committing to the hometown Cajuns. How did that all play out? You obviously had a lot of programs involved in your recruitment the last few years, and you end up committing to the opportunity to be kind of a hometown star with that program that you know so well.
Right. So just it's a long process. The recruiting process is really long. And you might have some things going on early, and then you might have some things going on late. So you have to just play it one day at a time. And you never know what's going to come about. And just with committing, it's just the relationships I had with the coaches, and you can't pass that up anywhere. So once you feel comfortable, it was just pull the trigger at any time. So I feel like with that, you've been around that campus a whole bunch. You're gonna get major opportunities to get on the field and just make an impact for yourself, and not only yourself but for the school as well. So just with that being said, and I went on the OV, and it was just time to make that commitment and pull the trigger. So I can't complain at all.
You hit on a couple of different aspects of it with kind of the ebbs and flows of a recruiting process. And some folks will be there early and might not be there late. Some folks might not come in until late. The Cajuns feel like a program that had been as steadily involved with you as maybe anybody throughout. Talk me through that background and just the relationships with Coach Dez and Coach Leger and all those guys. And how long they've been there, saying that they'd love to have you potentially stay home, and what those relationships meant to you in all of this.
Yes, sir. So being that they're only 15 minutes away, they've been there since freshman year, and whether it's working out in the weight room, whether it's on a practice field, looking at the practices and coming to the games, they're always recruiting guys in that area, so they're always going to be around. And ever since then, when you're younger, you can't really talk to coaches. But as you get older, you can start talking, and the relationships that have always been there. Whether it's talking to them, they're watching you, and just putting in the work, and just we've always had something, and with them being right there, you can always go to them whenever you want. Whether it's talking to them, and I feel like that was a really big aspect of it for sure.
From a football standpoint, when you mentioned the opportunity to get on the field and make plays for that Cajuns offense, what did they, the coaches, whether it be the guys that I mentioned, Dez and Leger, probably two of your biggest contacts as offensive guys and head coach and OC and all that, but just what they see as kind of the fit and the plan for you and the way that they see your career potentially playing out once you get there, and how you can be utilized and be a difference maker.
Right. So, Coach Tim, we were going over film, being able to get in that offense and do what I can. And you just have to, you're going to get the opportunities no matter what. So just, dominating on that level of college ball and just taking what they give you. You have to put in the work. You have to make the plays, but it's one day at a time. And, Coach Tim and Coach Dez, they're great people. Great people. I love them. And, they've always told me how I'm going to be able to excel in that offense and do what I can and be the best that I can, probably be at my peak in college ball. So, it's always going to get better from here. And I feel like there's a lot to prove on the field.
Yeah, and some of this may go along with what we were talking about, the ebbs and flows, and some schools that maybe offered early weren't as involved late. How much of a chip on your shoulder and just a desire to prove what you can do you have, I mean, this senior year and then certainly at the next level? Because regardless of how big of a program it was, I've seen you at LSU camps repeatedly through your high school career, go out there and cook DBs left and right and always be able to create some separation. And the competition there is nationwide notable. And so you've kind of shown what you can do. How much of a kind of a chip on your shoulder, motivation or anything like that do you have now, moving forward?
So being that you said all that, it's always going to be a chip on my shoulder no matter what I do. And with that, like, some schools are there, some schools are not. And I feel like I just have so much to prove now. I've always have. And just like with that, it's an extra boost, So going into senior year, I feel great. I feel great. There's nothing holding me back. And I feel like it's going to be a really big season. And after this season, you're going to, you enroll into college. And I feel like just being able to dominate on that level as well, is going to really open the eyes of some other people and just make them realize, that I've always been there no matter what.
What does this offseason look like from a work standpoint? You and I were talking previously, and you mentioned you feel like you're in the best shape of your life right now, and just you're primed to continue to showcase what you can do. What's the work piece look like, and how are you feeling right now?
I feel great. The body the best I've been in all 3 years of high school, and I'm biggest right now, faster, stronger, and I can feel the more explosiveness like just going into the season, and just being in a weight room, a way more than that I have, putting on some more weight, but keeping the strength and speed there as well. So I feel like with all those things tying together, it's gonna be able to make me be the best person I can on the field. So just being that and holding myself accountable, and I have to do what I can to help us get that last and final ring. This is my last year, so you have to go out there and put everything on the line.
Is the way last season ended, was that as big of a spark for you when you mentioned the amount of time you put in the weight room this offseason as ever before? That was kind of a big spark.
Sure. So just being that we came up short, nobody wants to go through that. So just putting in the extra work this year, getting to that point next year, I feel like we can win it all, and we have a lot to prove on the field to a lot of people in the area. So just being back in the dome, in that state championship game, we have to get the job done this year.
That was the first time since 2020 that the program had been in a state championship game, which obviously you go back then, and that was the COVID year where they're up in Natchitoches and everything. What did you and your teammates learn from the experience of last year overall? Y'all had some ups and downs at different points through the regular season, and it seems like y'all kind of were coming together and peaking at the right time to go on that run and get back to a place that the program hadn't been in a few years. What stands out in terms of lessons y'all learned from that experience of how to be where you need to be when you get to November, and then obviously December as well?
So just going through the whole season, like at the beginning, you have some hiccups, but as you come together as a team, you figure out those points that you need to make, whether it's offense and defense, and just coming together. You're way better. Your chemistry's on the field is way better, and you have guys playing with each other. You don't have some people doing this, some people doing that, and with everybody coming together, I feel like that makes the best team you can, and the guys on offense, we have to get the job done, and the guys on defense. Defense wins championships. So whether we're picking them up every game, they're picking us up, and just going through the whole season, you can kind of feel that shift each and every, like at the beginning, the middle, and the end. So like the beginning, you're getting you're playing the start of the games, and then the middle, you're kind of getting that more, you're building together, and then at the end, you're starting to get in the playoffs, and you can definitely feel that major shift, and everybody wants it. Everybody, as you get that determination to want the game and just win every game that you play, everybody's kind of like, this the end goal is the end goal. So that championship just coming up short, but that made us realize that we can do way better than what we did last year.
You guys obviously will have to replace some key pieces from that team. I mean, a guy that people on a national level know is Dominic McKinley in the middle of that defensive line. A
Sure.
guy in the middle of the offensive line last year, Jackson Hammond, who's going to be your college teammate now, for the Cajuns in a year, and several other key members of that roster. But shaking back from that loss last December, how quickly were you guys that were going to be back this year already talking about rewriting the ending of that as seniors? Who were some of the guys that were most vocal? Just kind of talk me through that process of taking that and moving forward and building it into this year.
Yes, sir. So as we were coming off of last year's, that loss, you have a lot of guys who are coming in like with the chip on their shoulder as well. So Braylon Noel, the DB, he's always been there. Dejan Francis, the linebacker, he's in the weight room pushing all the guys to be great. Um, who else you have? The quarterback, Caden Better, you have him. We got to do things this year. And a few other guys, they're all coming different this year. I can say that, and you can see it as well. So just from last year to this year, everybody wants that last game, and for us seniors, we don't have a ring yet, so that's going to be everything for us to get a ring, and finally do what we came here to start. Like I said, so with that being said, a lot of guys wanted this year, and we're going to get it. So that's the mindset for the whole year.
How much do y'all hear from those guys, whether it be the 24 class who just graduated or other kind of recent alumni, about their hope for y'all to get that done and to get the Rams back on top? How involved are some of the past players in terms of just their support and encouragement and expectations?
So with what they've done in that program and like throughout all the years, you have all kind of guys, pushing you. You have to win this game to get there. It's not going to be easy, It's never easy at Acadiana. So you have all kind of guys and alumni just telling you that you got to get yours too. They got theirs and we have to get ours as well. So we have to play with that mindset every game, and until we get there, So it's not over until it's over, and everybody kind of wants that ring. So they're always pushing us and telling us that the experiences that they had, the things that they did, kind of makes us wants to be better. So they really help us.
Has it sunk in yet that you're preparing for your last high school season already?
As we're getting closer, Tom's flying right now, and we actually start practice tomorrow. And as we're getting closer and closer, I'm starting to think it's like this is the last one. Like this is it's go big or go home. And like senior year, you never would have thought it would come this early, but it came pretty fast. And I'm thinking of freshman year is like yesterday, so it's like it's really crazy. And this is the last one, so got to make it all.
No doubt. And I guess it just naturally transitioned from talking about the commitment to some of the offseason work and whatnot. But the dynamic that I didn't ask you about in terms of committing to the Cajuns. So when we wrap up senior year with the Rams and then go right down the road to Cajun Field, to be a guy that grew up there, played 7-on-7 tournaments there, plays your jamborees there, stuff like that, to eventually be in a jersey on a Saturday that says Louisiana and a helmet that says Raging Cajuns. What is that piece of it going to be like to be able to continue to represent your hometown and your state, for years to come?
Correct. So just being that I'm going to be right there and, I get to represent and do it for us and do it for the people in the community. I feel like that's really everything, doing what I can to help that team do anything to win a championship, and just, putting on for my family and for myself as well. So I feel like just making a big impact, that's really going to be what I want. And you can't really pass that up. You're playing for your city and where you grew up when you were a kid. And you're kind of just like that feeling every day. You're gonna be able to get in those colors one day and actually get on the field and just play. And being that I'm gonna be right there, can't really complain about that. So that's everything to me, and I'm so ready to just get in those colors and start playing right now. So, but we have one more year, and we have to get this year done first, and then finally get to there. So it's a process.
No doubt. Well, looking forward to seeing you here soon on some Friday nights in some green and gold, and then obviously in a year down the road in the Cajuns colors right there for the hometown on Saturdays. Russell, always a pleasure, of course.
Always.
Appreciate you taking the time.
No doubt. Yes, sir.
Got it. He's Russell Babineaux, the standout rising senior with the Acadiana Wrecking Rams, now a member of that 2025 Raging Cajuns recruiting class that committed just over a month ago. And for Louisiana versus all y'all, Jared Roser.